from this encounter with Christ, and then through hearing from Christ, or we're watching where the Lord is pointing us to do, we then look at what the situation is. St. Ignatius Loyola was no denier of culture. He was no hater of the church either. He was someone who appreciated culture, education, and he also appreciated the church to the depth of his being. But he was a realist, and he knew that there are elements in culture and society that worked against the gospel and against the well-being of people. And he knew that there were things in the church that really stood in contradiction to what the gospel was saying. And as a realist, therefore, he knew that we had to bring things against them. But what he found most often was the very things that were good in church and society were the things that could be used in order to bolster the church and society to overcome those things that were weakest within it. One of those was education. He went to Paris, and he adopted the education system, more or less, of Paris. He saw that that was very good, and he brought that to society. Let us educate people because they don't know their faith, and they don't know a lot of things, from culture and society. They're going astray. And so education became important to him. He recognized its importance. Similarly, in the church, when he realized how much the love of money had dominated the clergy, he began to see with the Jesuits, if they could live poorly, if they could live without having a stable income, they could be a sign that there is another way to live the faith that we have. And he could also, point to that when he would want to make changes in the world around him. And in fact, even tell Jesuits, when you're suffering poverty, you are giving a great sign, and you're also, in many ways, experiencing what Christ himself had experienced. So in finding the things that were so good in the church, he was able to fight the things that were very real problems of his time. And the same thing within society. So that throws it back onto us then. We, in our own way, not hating the society we live in and the culture, and not hating the church and what it holds, need to look at those things that are good and appreciate them, and promote them, and find ways that what is strongest in culture and society, strongest in the church, can be turned to against those things that need to be challenged and need to be changed. And in doing that, we come across, as we should, as people who love the world around us. Jesus did not come into this world to hate the world, but because he loved the world. St. Ignatius knew that, and we need to know that. And the same thing in the church, not as people always critical of the church, but people who love the church deeply and are finding ways to use the very good things in the church to make it more as Jesus would want it to be. St. Ignatius is a wonderful guide in that, and may we in our own way continue that beautiful legacy of his. And that's the wisdom of St. Ignatius for today.